Hey there, welcome to ByteClassroom, where we teach tech one byte at a time. If you have seen our first video, you already know what this channel is about. Teaching the technology one byte at a time. We talked about what you will be learning here, from programming basics to advanced technology like machine learning and deep learning. Okay. So officially, we are entering into our first part titled as Introduction to Programming and Python. So under this part 1, we have three chapters or three contents. Like the first content will be like programming is not just for the coders, it's for the thinkers. So this is the video is about. And second content will be like how to think like a programmer even before writing your first line of a code. And the last part is like a general problem solving approach for any kind of a problem statement. So before entering into any learning about any kind of programming language or writing the code, we need to know why we are learning this particular programming language and why we are particularly choosing this particular programming language, and how we it's not about coding, it's about how we are managing to write the code. Okay, so before we jump into writing the code, let's tackle a big question that's probably on your head, like why should I even learn programming? Especially if I'm not from engineering background or a computer science background, maybe it's a fair question, and today we are going to answer it. Let's dive in. Okay, so assume a scenario like, I don't know how many of you people had this conversation, but most of the students will experience. So I am from the electronic communication background actually, but right now it changed to data science statistically. So we can define, or I can define like I can use different programming language for different domain and for different purpose. But for the core department or for other professionals also, they might have the same questions, right? So let's take the civil department as an example. So here is a narration between the student and the professor. So the student is asking the question like, sir, I am from the civil engineering. I won't be building a website or apps. So is coding really necessary for me? Because in almost all the colleges and universities, in the very first semester, they have the Python programming language is a common language, right? So the student has the scenario, think about the scenario and asking the questions to the professor. So, and he'll be answering like a good question. Let me ask you back. Do you use any technology in your field like that? Okay. So student, of course, sir, we use simulation software, sensors, and automated design tools, something and all. And professor, they are saying like, then programming is already helping you to work it out, whether you know it or not. So from this basic conversation itself, I hope you will get a primary level of understanding. Whatever the domain it may be, programming language is a mandatory, and without knowing that, we'll be using a programming. So think about a scenario. If you know the programming and you are using the technology, whatever it may be, depends on the domain, think of it. You can do some kind of a wonders, right? So don't worry. In this video, we will see some more information with examples for a better understanding. So, what programming really is? Let break the myth. Programming is not just for the software developers. At its core, programming is about giving a clear logical instruction to a machine. Just like telling your friend how to reach your house, like go straight, turn left, turn right, stop at the third gate. So that's algorithmic thinking, right? And programming is just writing these steps down in a language that computers can understand. Suppose, assume you are in some ABC department, you only know English and your own native language, and you got placed in a Google, that too in XYZ country. For let's assume 45 LPA as a fresher you are getting as a salary, but the twist here is people there don't speak English. So, will you go to the place to work or not? Mostly yes, right? Why? Because of money and also the brand called Google. So what you will do here? Start learning that particular IJK language, right? So fine. Like learning the language, we are learning a programming for some purpose, as simple. That's it. Okay. So, programming in your field, no matter what your background is, programming is your superpower. Say, for example, mechanical engineers they use to automate simulation and to control the robotic arms. And for the civil engineers, they used for analyzing the traffic flow or to predict some kind of material stresses. And for the biomedical and medical professional, they use a programming to process a medical image, analyze patient data, or to build some diagnostic AI tools. And for the agriculture experts, we use smart sensors and IoT to monitor crop health and optimize the irrigation. And the financial professionals, by default, they use the programming for analyzing the marketing trends, detect fraud, and build the stock prediction models, right? And for the management and business analysts, they use for automate the reports and build some kind of a dashboards for decision making. And educators by default create interactive content, analyze the student performance, and for the personalized learning also they'll be using the programming. And for the designers, they write scripts to automate repetitive tasks in Photoshop and the Illustrator. And with respect to journalists, they use the programming mainly for the data scraping. And from the scraping the data, analysis used to uncover the insights and visualize the stories. And lastly, the psychologists and researchers. They run the programming for run behavioral simulation, analyze the survey data, or model cognitive patterns. Whatever the field you may be, if there is a problem to solve, a task to automate, or data to analyze, programming gives you the power to do it in a smarter and faster way. And guess what? Most of these tasks that I have jotted out here are doing user friendly languages like Python. So it's not about becoming a programmer. Learning programming does not mean you have to become a software engineer. It means you can solve the problems faster, automate the repetitive tasks, and think logically and systematically, build smart tools for your field. It's like learning English, not to become a novelist, but to communicate better, right? So, programming is your voice when talking to a particular system or machine. Someone you have a question like do machine think like us? Now here where things get fascinating. While humans communicate using words, gestures, and emotions, machines speak through programming languages. Of course, they don't talk like us. Their communication is purely functional. When we say machines speak, we really mean they interpret and execute the instruction we give them through code. We will dive into the Python platforms like Anaconda and other platforms in upcoming videos. But for now, meet the Python interpreter. As of now, with the help of a Python ideally, which means like integrator, development, and learning environment. In this ideally, you will be recognize this particular symbol, right? This operator kind of a symbol. It's a Python. It means like I am ready. Tell me what to do. So if you type print hello world, that's a usual statement most of them will be using, right? Simple statement to display the line that we are giving inside a double quote or a single quote, and the machine replies hello world. If you change the statement like print I am Python, I am Python. So here, if you change the statement, that the machine too will change the display. So we are communicating the machines, right? So this is how we bridge the gap between human thought and machine execution. Simple. Fine. So Understanding the programming. So for any kind of a technology, whatever the technology, data science, cyber security, or whatever the technology it may be, programming is the backbone of any kind of a technology. To truly appreciate how devices work from the smartphone to the satellite, we need to understand programming, the invisible hand that controls all the hardwares. Think about a camera app on your phone. Without phone, we won't be survey, right? So you tap the shutter and boom, you get a photo. But programming controls the HDR processing, beautification filters, flashlight behavior, storage optimization, and we have so many functions in the mobile, the camera app itself. Each function runs on predefined instruction written by a developer, all made possible because of a programming. So now, programming is not just about making the machines work, it's about teaching them how to work. Now, the bigger question comes to your mind is why does matter for you or us, right? So, if you have ever felt overwhelmed or fluctuated when learning programming, here is the truth. You are not alone, and more importantly, programming is not about just memorizing the code or syntax like what we doing with the theory subject or any other mathematical equation. It's about thinking critically, solving the problems, being creative with logic, learning how to figure things out. As a Chris Pine said, programming is not about what you know, it's about what you can figure it out. Okay, so that quote it captures the spirit of the programming perfectly. And look around you, the spirit is everywhere, right? So we have the tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, all designed to make our life smoother, smarter, and faster. Did you know some AI models, artificial intelligence models, can now detect certain cancer earlier than the doctors can just by scanning the images? That's not magic, that's programming. Someone wrote code to help machines to learn how the cancer cells look so diagnosis can happen faster, potentially save lives. That's the proper logic of meeting the compassion, right? And this kind of a precision does not stop at daily tools also. So the India Pakistan war is going on, right? Say take the S-400 air defense system for example, used by our India for national security issue. When it detects a potential threat, it does not randomly shoot. It identifies, classifies, and makes split second decision based on massive data, all guided by the some complex algorithms and real time programming logic. And imagine a drone flying over a field and checking which crops need water or fertilizer. So that drone is not guessing. It's a following the instruction, analyzing the images, reading the sensor data, and make farmers smarter and more efficient. Yes, a line of Python might be feeding your future meal. Ever played a game where enemies seem to adapt your moves? That's we call dynamic AI, artificial intelligence. The game is learning from your behavior and changing the strategy. That's just not for the fun. It's advanced programming in action. But here is a twist. These languages did not just appear out of thin air. They exist because someone somewhere used programming to solve a problem. They broke down the human needs into logical steps and wrote a code to meet them. So, when you are learn programming, you are not just learning, but skilling yourself. You are learning for how to build the future, how to think like the people who created the tools you use every day. So, don't just be an audience by using these tools. Be the creator behind them. With the power of a programming, you can move from being a consumer of technology to a creator of a solution. And you are about to learn about those kind of a programming language called Python. Fine. So let's go back to our original question. Why should I learn programming? Because in any field, whether it's a engineering or business or medicine, art or agriculture, or eventually you will be facing so many data, systems, or process that need optimization, automation, and some kind of innovation. And that's where the programming becomes your best friend. So when someone asks why you are learning to code, here is a simple answer: because I'm not just learning programming, I'm learning to think, solve, and shape the future. So let's summarize the whole content that we discussed today in a very crisp manner. The first point is like programming is a mindset, not just a skill. Second thing is like think logically, solve creatively. And third main thing is like shape the world with code regardless of your domain. Okay, so I end the video by one punch dialogue like the best way to predict the future is to create it, and programming gives you that power. Stay tuned in the next video. We will learn how to think like a programmer even before writing your first line of code. Comment below what field are you from and how do you think programming could you help. Hit the subscribe button and as always, happy coding. This is a Byte Classroom teaching tech one byte at a time.